Hello, students. Moving on to topic 2, rhetorical communication, ethos, pathos, and logos. I have a couple of announcements before we get into this topic. Number 1, I'm trying to change the meeting time if it works for the majority. So if you could please take a look at the bottom of this section. There is another vote to change the meeting time to Monday, 6 to 7 p.m. So that people who are working during the day have an opportunity to join the call. So please, please, please vote on that as soon as possible. Number 2, please submit all assignments only in a PDF, RTF, or the JPEG is also fine. So to repeat that, you have to save as PDF or RTF works, or the JPEG if it's a picture of your annotations. But if it's a docx or pages, I either can't open the file at all or it loses its format and the text is very, very small and hard to read. So please, please, please do that. Number 3, education topic is now closed. You had that final paper that was due yesterday. So we're moving on to the next topic. And I just can't have lingering assignments open until the end of the semester. So, if you have to get it in, please get it in. Today is March 10th, so make sure that is in within the next couple of days, because I really want you to plan out your next assignments in this topic. You'll have until March 30th to complete this topic. So I did the due dates a little differently. They're all saying they're due by March 30th. That means it's up to you to plan out your time here and what you want to accomplish by when. So I would have a calendar open, a planner, look through the assignments, and plan out how much time you're going to spend on each thing, on each assignment. And I'm going to go through the assignments in 1 second. I just want to also point out that the last topic is open. Research writing process revision. I actually just slimmed this down. There are some really nice resources about the importance of research and the steps to take in doing research. And then the final assignment is already posted. You're basically going to use one of the papers you're doing along the way. A topic that we've already done, the education topic, the rhetorical communication, and the things we're going to read in this section. The next section is obedience, and the final section is technology. So you'll have a lot of reading under your belt, and you'll choose a topic that we've already covered this semester. You can add the readings you've already done to that new research question. And then you're just required to find at least one source on your own. Of course, you can use more than one source, but you must use one source from Google Scholar or from the library databases. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that because we're going to also use them in this rhetorical communication section. So please go ahead, take a look at that research paper. The minimum is 2 pages, so this is not a long, ongoing research. It's just to practice using these databases in Google Scholar and making sure you know how to plug in your research in a well-formulated essay and have your work cited. So to go back to rhetorical communication, this is ethos, pathos, and logos, which are Greek words, and they go back to Aristotle. Aristotle described these 3 main forms of rhetoric. And remember, rhetoric is the art of speaking or writing effectively. And in speaking or writing effectively, these 3 categories, ethos, logos, and pathos. So ethos Ethos is appeal based on the character of the speaker. An ethos-driven document relies on the reputation of the author. Logos is appeal based on logic or reason. Documents distributed by companies or corporations are logos-driven. They're based on logic, reason. Scholarly documents are also often logos-driven. Pathos is an appeal based on emotion. Advertisements tend to be pathos-driven, which we're going to take a look at in the first assignment. Here's also a link to pathos-based examples. So rhetorical appeal, right? This is, again, effective written and speaking techniques. Can be done in a visual information structure, color, graphic images. You are going to watch these two videos right off the bat to start off this section. So have a notebook open, you'll read, you'll listen, watch, and annotate. First, this one, the introduction to ethos, pathos, logos, it's not that long. And then the second one goes into the topic more deeply and also gives this example of when Mr. Rogers speaks in front of the United States Senate asking for money for PBS. So they break down into a bit of an analysis of how he uses rhetoric effectively. And your first assignment is in an open forum, which these forums are graded. They do go towards your final grade. You'll just watch these videos, these commercials, and notice the ethos, pathos, and logos used in the commercials. And then you'll find your own commercial to share in the discussion board and explain the ethos, pathos, logos, and commercial ads. So this assignment shouldn't take too long. You're watching these videos that I provide, and then you're searching for another commercial and analyzing it as to how ethos, pathos, and logos is used. And then please look at your classmates' postings and you can comment and have a discussion about that. Excuse me. Sorry to scroll. The second forum in this section is based on the last chapter, or the very last chapter in the They Say, I Say book. It's called Argument Culture, and it's about argument culture and agonism, which is very applicable today in our current culture. So I think it's a really good short chapter, quick read, and you'll read the chapter and then add to a discussion in this forum and discuss with your classmates. And I give some guiding questions here as to what you should be thinking about while you're reading the chapter and how to respond. Actually, I had originally write a 2 to 3 page. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, not page, 2 to 3 paragraphs in a response using these questions. So this will guide you to hopefully, you know exactly what to write and it's engaging. Oops. So keep this chapter by Tannen in mind, and we're still focusing heavily on the ethos, pathos, and logos for your first assignment in this section. I'm sorry, after the forum assignments, this is the next assignment listed. You're going to develop a PSA, a public service announcement on a topic that interests you, that's important to you. So you're using the They Say, I Say chapters 6 through 11 to think about these, the points that they bring up in these chapters, and choose the templates in this assignment and your next writing assignment in this section. So They Say, I Say, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. They're short chapters. You can skim them and take away the important points of them, and use the templates in your writing. So you're actually not submitting anything here, but you will get a grade when I see that you've applied the lessons to this public service announcement assignment and to the ethos, pathos, logos essay assignment. So again, it's not a ton of reading and note-taking, but you should definitely skim the chapters and have them open while you're doing these assignments. So the public service announcement is to practice using rhetorical communication and apply it yourselves. So the learning objective is to apply the principles of rhetorical communication, ethos, pathos, and logos in a practical way to effectively express a message. To use reliable sources of information to enhance a message in correct MLA. That's if you're using an outside source. So create a commercial, a song, a bulletin, article, poster, flyer, letter to the editor, letter to the governor, letter to a mayor or school board, using rhetorical communication of ethos, pathos, and logos to get your important message across in regards to a vital topic. So these formats should give you some inspiration on how you want to approach the topic. Maybe it's something you feel strongly about that the school board should hear, or that the governor of your state should hear, or something about the environment, and create a flyer or a poster. Any of these forms are great. You can also do it as a video on Flipgrid, or any other way that you want. If it's a written form, you can submit it here. Let me show you. So you will submit the assignment. The grade will go in here. And then you can also, I would like you to also post it here so that everyone can see and have fun with it and share and have a nice shared experience with the assignment. This is just another example. It's just a posting of the assignment. Okay, so when you're thinking, you have 20 days to do all of this. So you may want to think, what can you accomplish in the first week, the first set of days, and then accordingly. I would definitely want all of that done in the first 10 days, I would say. If you thought about it that way, then this next section would be to read an analysis of Malala Yousafzai's speech and the application of ethos, pathos, and logos. So what this reading is going to do, it's going to show you the speech we've already read from Malala in the last section. So that's great. We already have that background on it. We've already studied it and analyzed it ourselves. And now we are going to read how it was critiqued and studied based on ethos, pathos, and logos. And the reading is really nice because it'll break down clearly into all three of those categories and explain how Malala used all three of those rhetorical communication techniques in that speech, that Nobel Peace Prize speech that we've already read. So that's the one required reading in this section. And then additionally, you'll read 2 speeches to read and annotate. But I want to make it clear, read and or watch and annotate. So I have 2 speeches posted here for you, the I Have a Dream speech and the Gettysburg Address. I also have a link to famous speeches in video form. So I started out just gathering more ideas of what would be great material for you and worth your time to read and watch, and also inspire you to go out and search for something else if you wanted to use anyone else, really. If you have a political figure in mind, or even an actor or sports figure, you can use any speech you would like. So these are some I really thought would just give us a nice broad coverage of different people and topics, and posted them here for you to use. So you can browse all of these options, and then you're going to focus on 2 to read and annotate, or watch and annotate. And also, like if it's a video, so for example, President John F. Kennedy's inaugural address, which is really, really great. I mean, he uses a lot of ethos, pathos, and logos. If I found that video and I wanted to find it in a library database so that I could read it and use direct quotes, I went into our library database, Academic Search Premier, and ProQuest. I went into, which one was it? Academic Search Premier. And I searched John F. Kennedy inaugural address, and I found the speech. So to show you that process one more time, if I loved the Michael Jordan retirement speech, and that was something I wanted to read and analyze for ethos, pathos, and logos, I'd again go to the library. And you might have to play around in both databases, but so for this one I did, I played around in both, and I found that one in ProQuest. So I went into ProQuest, Michael Jordan retirement speech, and I found that. So you can have a copy of that. Remember, in the databases, it will give you a citation, so you'll already have that citation that you can copy and paste into your works cited. You can also email all of this to yourself so you have it in your file. So you've done that. Now you have the 2. So you're going to then choose one to use for the final writing assignment in this section. You're going to write your own analysis of how one of these speeches used ethos, pathos, and or logos. probably in a really good speech, they're using all three. And again, this first required reading in this section is going to give you that model of how, what to think about and how to do your written essay. So here are the steps broken down very carefully of how to do that rhetorical research, which I don't want you to be overwhelmed with because you've already done the research now, right? You already have the Gettysburg Address and I Have a Dream posted in the section that you could have chosen. You have the videos to browse through and choose to listen and read a speech from any of those sources or from anything else that you would like. And then you're going to choose the rhetorical method to evaluate and critique the rhetorical acts and messages. And again, if you're choosing Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant or Lou Gehrig, I kind of really got on a sports kick. Or it could even be a speech from a movie. So don't forget that. If there's a movie that you loved a speech that a character gave, it can be a fictional speech. And then you just break that speech down and you show examples of ethos, pathos, and logos. So you may have an introduction, setting us up, giving us a summary of the speech. And then you're going to use a couple of body paragraphs to explain how ethos, pathos, and logos were used. And then a nice conclusion to tie everything up and leave a lasting message, maybe some follow-up questions. So now that you know the writing assignment attached to why you're reading and annotating, think about that writing assignment first, and then choose your 2 speeches that you would like to study closely. And that's that for this section. So there are quite a few assignments and lessons posted, but they really are all streamlined and, some are on the shorter side that shouldn't take you too long to do. And I'm providing the research for you. So this isn't something you should have options to use in completing all the assignments. And then make sure you vote on the meeting time. So if enough people respond that yes, Monday 6 to 7 is good, then we'll change that. So we'll start that next week. Be well, everyone. Hang in there. You're doing great. Talk to you soon.